या तो खुद मरने को तैयार रहो या मारने को तैयार हो, दूसरा कोई विकल्प नहीं है। यहाँ की पुलिस को, यहाँ के नेताओं को, यहाँ की फौज को, यहाँ के हर हिंदू को अस्त्र उठार करके इस सफाई अभियान को करना पड़ेगा।
We are sorry, Zakia Jafri. We are sorry when people speak of the 2002 Gujarat riots as if they weren't a traumatizing, dark and heavy chapter in India's recent history. We are sorry the system failed you. How might you have felt when they blamed your husband, the man who died such a painful and pitiless death? It must have been unbearable to watch him plead for help from senior police officials, from the state, even from the then Chief Minister, Narendra Modi.
2002 માં એવો પાઠ શીખવાડ્યો કે ખોડ ભૂલી ગયા 2002 થી 22 સુધી નામ ના લેશે.
As the angry mob surrounded your home, it must have been heartrending to see the residents of Gulbarg society huddled together, trembling in fear. My grandfather and his family were among them, as was your family, as were so many of our elders, our women and our children. Your husband Ehsan Jafri pleaded for help. No one came. The mob, armed with swords, acid and kerosene, had been waiting. They had lists of Muslim-owned homes, businesses, people. They knew exactly who they were coming for. This was no spontaneous mob. It must have made you quake when your husband, realizing that no help was coming, picked up his own licensed gun, not to attack but to fire warning shots into the air to scare them away. It didn't help. He stepped outside to confront the mob. "Kill me, but spare the others," he said. The mob bounced. They hacked him with swords, slashed his face, chopped off his limbs and burned him alive. Your husband, former member of parliament, a poet and an orator, was gone. And then it began. One survivor, an 11-year-old girl at the time, remembers hearing the screams of her father as he was set on fire. Another survivor recalls seeing pregnant women's stomachs slit open, their unborn babies tossed into the flames. It must have made you cry with rage when you realized that after the massacre they poured salt and chemicals into mass graves, erasing all traces of those killed. It made us cry, as though even under Indian soil, Muslims had no right to rest in peace.
लेकिन जैसा उन लोगों ने किया है उसके मुताबिक तो उनको सजा कड़ी से कड़ी होना चाहिए.
That's when your fight began. For 22 years you fought against the most powerful forces in India and never once wavered. You were ridiculed. What kind of woman is this? The court seemed to ask, who refuses to get tired even after 22 years of demanding justice. A fearless woman, a strong woman, like you, Zakia Jafri. How must you have felt when the Supreme Court dismissed your case in 2022, absolving the guilty of all responsibility, despite eyewitness testimonies, despite phone records, despite independent reports? Those with blood on their hands were given a clean chit. We lost you this year, Zakia. Will we also lose every hope in humanity? Do we have it in us to live with your unwavering thirst for justice? Will we remember your courage? Yes, we will. Those who lost our families and our homes, those who live in dread every day, we will remember that you, Zakia, never gave up. The families of the dead will remember you. Those who stood by, those who let it happen, those who ignored your husband's desperate calls for help, they will remember you. They will shake with fear, knowing that one woman had the courage to fight till the very end. And they will fear the Zakia Jafris yet to come.